Hola! What's happening, everybody? I had a request on the last shirt video. Hey man, would you show us what's in all that stuff in the backdrop there? And I had a request some years ago. Hey man, will you go through your garage and show us what's in there and all the crazy crud you hang on to? And I said yes to both, so today I'm going to make good on it. If you recall, in that last shirt video, my daughter said to me, hey, you have to have a better backdrop for your viewers. When you're talking about whatever, you got to give them something to look at. So I did, and then she yelled at me again. Let me rephrase. She told me, Dad, you still had this and that all over the place. So we've turned everything. I think I have it better off, and I'm going to go through and kind of show you what's in this random wall behind me. I went around the house and just gathered up crud that I collect that seems odd, and yes, I'm aware it seems odd, but it ain't. It's cool. The top row there is all small sheds. I keep all the big sheds in the room, but to be honest with you, I like the small sheds more than anything. I mean, anybody can find a big old giant 200-inch deer, but who finds that? That is a fantastic beast of a deer. Also probably got winter killed or killed by a coyote, but I got his antler. These, I'm trying to think of the technical PC term, but essentially this is an elk nutsack koozie. Maybe a scrotum cool can is more affectionate. But that's the lower end of an elk. I actually tan these using Instatan. This one I stretched over a mason jar, and that one actually gets a foam cooler in it. But check out this idea. Tell me this isn't brilliant, right? So I saved the scrotums on, and I'm aware that sounds weird too, but I save them on lots of things, and those little jars are all designed to go inside of there. So I think this is off of a chamois from New Zealand. So this will all get fastened up in here nice and tight. Then you'll have a jar that will open. And my idea is Arapawa, fallow deer, whitetail, whatever else, right? So if you had all these set up on a real nice platter, and you had some friends that came over with these beautiful glass jars, you could fill those full of mixed nuts and then just serve them around. And I just think that's a fantastic idea. Moving along. The next is just some wooden random bowl. This is a koozie that I'm making out of a bison beard. I'm actually working on a tanning method for turkey feet. And I don't know that it's going to work exactly, but those are about a year old and they look pretty good. From this side, a little project that my son made when he was little. This is a frog. Probably a perfect replica of the perfect frog. I mean, that's amazing. So accurate. Sometimes I startle because I think there's a real frog up there, but it's not, just the one he made. And then I pick up stuff like this all the time. This is just a little burrow off an oak. I'm saving these. I've got a bunch of them, and I'm going to use them as towel rings for a napkin rings for like a Thanksgiving dinner at my mother's place. And I love the tops of old cedar posts. These are just neat. Age and time does some neat things there. And what I'll do is I'll save these and we'll put something on them, whether they're old tusks or whatever, or the corners of an old piece of artwork, whatever. Those are just laying around. And I love old iron. This is the top of an old drill post. This is a corner post. And I covered those in Rust Restore. A set of chamois horns that I found in New Zealand. A little tiny microbuck that was probably lion killed. And then this right here is the hip bone off a white-tailed doe I shot years ago. And it's supposed to be this little piece right here. All this calcified bone and stuff is all just hurt that poor animal went through. And I save that stuff because I'm fascinated by it. The rest of these are just random pieces and parts and bones. I picked that up because I think it looks exactly like a face. It looks like a face that way, and it looks like a face that way. I don't care who you are. That looks like a face. That's a cow vertebrae. And these other pieces up here were all stuff that was cut apart and utilized for some sort of testing, for degreasing or what things look like. And so I just saved them. And then over here, this is a blessed buck horn I found in Africa, along with dozens of other horns and some warthog hair that I actually took off the warthogs we killed, and I just epoxied it in there, and originally it was going to go on the wall as like a little accent piece. But that didn't happen. And then some of the elk horns that we find, if I don't have room for them, we've cut them down, and I'll put an anchor in there, and this could be some sort of artwork or whatever. Anyway, those are all laying out here. Some old chain I find on old hikes. I rust restore that stuff. Beautiful little rock that a friend of mine found. He's a big beachcomber, had that polished, just a beautiful piece. And then this, I'll zoom in on these, but these are little critters I make out of pieces and parts. Say somebody brings me a bobcat and I do the skull. Well, I have a whole bobcat piece, so I'll save the pelvis, and then I'll epoxy 2 rows of teeth and an eyeball in there, and it just looks like a crazy whatever. I like to give that stuff to kids or whatever, not to freak them out, just conversation piece. There's 2 rows of teeth and a little guy. Anyway, I got tons of these. This is a vertebrae out of that same cat. I just give it 2 eyes and a little bit of hair. To me it looks like a toothless old bone man. And then these pieces here are all just leftover from the animals, parts that we don't use, like the jaws. So if you save these jaws, I cut the bottom row of teeth off and I put them together, and they make like a little smile. That's what I make those little animals out of. And I was really thinking I could get into aging animals, and so I started saving those pieces, and I just never did get to it. Leftover tusks, rattlesnake rattles, baculum penis bones. That's what I stir drinks with. Not really. Bear claws, big teeth. These are all bullets that I've recovered out of animals that I've harvested. Those are great trophies. I also, as I'm walking from point A to point B out hunting, if I see a stick that looks like a face, I know it's weird, I pick it up, I give it some eyes and a little hair, and then I have a little character conversation piece. And then this little sandstone piece right here looks to me like 2 baseballs, right? Baseballs. So I saved it. And then I've got horns with pheasant feathers, porcupine quills that I found there in Africa. They're everywhere. This is a tooth off a narwhal that I harvested. It's not true. I didn't do that. I'm just kidding. This is the horn core off of an oryx, and I was working on a method to get the bugs out. Bugs will actually live in these horn cores, and so I've been playing with it. So far so good. And just a little bit of the face mask on one. Again, just color and contrast, just stuff that looks neat sitting around. These are the keychains from the Aoudad chaps. This is just an awesome piece right here. This is the horn core on the inside of an Aoudad. So when that horn comes together, I cut it in half to see what was inside, and just a spider web tangled unique mess inside there. It's bitching. And then you heard me say I was getting into aging deer, or trying to get into aging deer. This is the bottom row of teeth on the jawbone, and I was trying to figure out how I could age them correctly, and so I've saved tons of them. And then if somebody ever wanted to come over to the house and say, hey, do you have an extra bottom row of teeth I could have? I got them. Nobody's ever asked that. I don't think anybody will ever ask that. But hey, just in case, check it out. I got them. And then this is the front of the jawbone. That is the back of the jawbone. This is kind of the thin area that comes up into the skull. This is the base of the horn for a deer that was velveted in New Zealand. So when the red deer, their horns go into full velvet, before they go hard horn, they cut the horn off above the base of the horn and they save that. That's a food product. It typically goes to Asia. And then that much horn right there will go hard horn, and they'll shed these in the paddock, what we would refer to as the pasture. And then they pick them up, and I just think they're cool as can be. So I keep them in there. Got those from my good friends over at Peel Forest Safaris in New Zealand. And then this, I found some jugs just recently out there. Somebody had a moonshine issue and I think was stashing their old jugs. So I cut up some old shotgun shells in there. And then in this one, because I found 3 of them, I decided that I'm going to take and start keeping those old shells that we find when we're out walking. You know, you go up on a ridge somewhere and you look down and there's a bunch of old brass and 270, 30-06 that somebody shot up. Well, I normally look at it and put it back. Well, I'm going to start bringing it home and fill this jar full of old brass that I found. I think I'll take a paint marker and put, you know, this particular spot or that particular spot. Just think it's neat to find old brass. The other thing that I keep is bison beards. When somebody brings in a bison and they want me to Euro it, I always save that beard. I just think that's a cool piece of beard right there. Check it out. Thought it might be kind of cool to have a beard like that. But I Googled it and apparently I can't do it. I don't know how to grow a beard. But I save them all. They're all a bit unique in their own way. So I probably will wind up making crazy looking critters out of these beards. Eyeballs and excess teeth. Look at that bad boy right there. Man, if you had a beard like that, everybody'd want to shake your hand. Lastly, or second to lastly, guess I'd made that with the kids years ago. There's those 2 rows of teeth, a bunch of old scrap leather. This guy right here, a couple little spike horns and some leftover pig teeth and some eyeballs and a horn. It doesn't have a name. Shoot me a comment, give him a name. If you're going to give that one a name, might as well give this one a name. Check out that dude. You imagine if you were just walking around out there and you saw that little dude poke his head over grinning at you? So this is a this is a coyote butt. These are pig teeth, all the bottom rows of teeth, and then I think those are caribou eyes or something. Just tinkering around like a big kid. And then I've been asked a few times too about what do I do with teeth. I save excess teeth like that just in case I ever lose one or one blows out or whatever. But you can't have enough of that when you're doing skull work. You will lose teeth. It happens. And you can replace it with a tooth that you've got, or you can build teeth and it's much easier to have a normal teeth. So, thank you very much for dealing with my crazy. Thank you for all the shirt orders. We've got most of them shipped and we have a few that we're just waiting for them to come in. They'll be here tomorrow and everybody's shirts will go out. It was just a huge blessing that you guys sent those over. I never really thought they would sell. It's awesome. So thank you for that. And I promise you the next film will be a skull film and it's going to be on the Coatimundi or the Kuwati as some say it. Coos monkey. Thanks for watching.